Do I need to organize my podcast into seasons, and do I need to put episode numbers on them? This is a question that's been coming up a bit, so I'm making an episode on it.
Hello, I'm Olivia D'Souza. I'm a multi-passionate entrepreneur. I'm a content and podcast expert. I support visionary entrepreneurs and leaders passionate about living with purpose. Join me as we explore podcasting, life, business, and authenticity. Subscribe for meaningful conversations with a business buddy who gets what it's like. Welcome to Magnetic Pod.
I'm stepping in the next level me. I think when people are contemplating making a podcast, they observe that some of them have seasons and that people can number them. Some do, some don't. Some put it in their title. Some will have the whole word episode 1, and some just put like a hashtag and the number and that kind of thing. And so it can be a little bit confusing, and you can wonder what the right thing is to do. And fortunately or unfortunately, there's no answer. There's no one size fits all. The answer is to do what suits you. So for some people, for example, in my situation at the moment, I am doing a season. And the reason I'm doing a season is based on a personal goal, because at the beginning of this year, when I started creating new content for the podcast, I had this burning desire, I guess, that had been rattling around in my mind that I was scared to take the plunge on. And so when it was time to get fully into my business again after the kids went back to school, I went, it's scary and I'm doing it. It's scary, so I'm doing it, which is the daily 5 days a week podcast. But for me to stick to it, I have to see that there's an end in sight, because doing it forever might be so overwhelming that I just will give up before I start. So for me, and because I feel like doing daily is over and above what's generally expected of a podcast, like once a week is generally considered a lot, I feel like taking a break is fine. So I've made it around school terms. So I'm saying I'm doing a season for me because of what suits my personal goal, my ambition, my little target that I've set for myself, which is really a personal development thing and more than anything else probably, is I'm going to do this while the kids are at school. And then that means if I achieve it, I get to take a break when it's school holidays. So that'll be season 1. So that works for me and my goals. It's not because of some like magical rule somewhere about how you're supposed to do podcasts. And hopefully, the idea is that people get used to listening to me that often and have a relationship that hopefully they'll miss me when I'm gone a couple of weeks and be happy to see my podcast back in their feeds when I come back. I wouldn't recommend taking too long of a break if you can help it, because, you can drop off their feeds and just kind of get out of their memory and habit. So, but yeah, that's the thing to consider. But like if you're thinking there's no reason I need to stop, I don't have a reason for a season. The other reason you can do seasons is you could decide to do themes. You might make it fit within what you're doing in your business. You might know that you have a launch of particular things and particular themes that you cover in your business, and you can mirror that in your podcast. So if you know that for the first couple of months of the year you were all about doing a particular thing, then you can do various themes that fit with that during that time. May or may not mean you have to have a season, but you might do it that way. You might go, this season is all about, I don't know, what's your business? Connecting, if you're a parenting coach, it could be, helping your kids get back to school and how to settle in at school, and the whole season on that, for example, just as an idea. So you can use it to organize your content. You can use it to have a goal for yourself that you find is sustainable. Yeah, you can do it for a theme. You can do it for, I've seen it done for a season of when someone's written a book and they can't be bothered dealing with all the requirements of getting it published on Audible and the rest of the platforms. I just go, bugger it, I'm just going to read it myself on my podcast. So you could do a season of reading your audiobook or creating an audiobook on your podcast. So there's no right or wrong. It's a matter of you deciding what suits me, what suits you. So that's it. I find it curious that there's this thing with podcasts that we number them. And, it's very common for people to say, hey, welcome to XYZ podcast. This is episode 93 or whatever. And there's nothing wrong with it. That's fine. It's interesting. And it's a way to, keep your content organized. And if you want to send someone to a particular episode on a topic, you can say if you know offhand what the episode is, it makes it easier to find it. But it's funny. It's not necessary, is it? Like, I find it, that's interesting. Why do we do that with podcasts? You don't see people on TikTok saying, hi, welcome to my 67th TikTok video. Like, I'm not sure why that's a thing on podcasts, but it is. But you know what? I think in a way that's for the podcast host. I don't think there's anything wrong with it. It can be a good thing. It can be motivating, but it's almost like a bit of a dopamine hit. It's like, I've done it. I've clocked on another one. I've clocked on another one. Yeah, go me. So, and in terms of your podcast episode, right, putting the number in your podcast, it does nothing for SEO or does nothing really for potentially your regular listeners. It might help them find a particular episode, but it does nothing for new listeners to go, oh, I want to listen to that. It's number 63, so that is to say, try to make it, if you do want to put it in your title, try to make sure that it takes up as little space as possible in that real estate, because it's not helping your SEO and it's not creating a title that makes people go, oh, I want to click on it because it's about this, or, it doesn't create curiosity. So if you must put a number in your title, just don't, just put a number, just put the bare minimum. Don't take any more characters than you need to do that. So that's my thoughts on the matter. There is no right or wrong. There is only your right and wrong. What do you think? Feel free to comment. If you're listening on YouTube, you have the ability to comment. If you're listening anywhere else, send me an email, drop me a line. Livy Music, it's Livvi is how I spell Livy, livy@livymusic.com, or you can direct message me at Instagram, Livy Music Media. If you like this episode, if you found it helpful, please share it far and wide, rate, review, and do all the good things, and wonderful karma will come straight back to you. I'll see you in the next one. Bye. I'm stepping in the next level me. I'm here to be everything I can be. Like a snake, I'm shedding my skin to be my I'm next level me. I'm stepping in the next level me. I'm here to be everything I can be. Give you whiplash when you turn around and see me go again. Next level me. It's time to be. Hello, it's Livy here. Have you ever wondered about what the key elements are that make a podcast truly stand out? Or maybe you're thinking about starting your own special podcast and feel a bit overwhelmed and don't know where to start. Well, I have something for you. Introducing the ultimate podcast checklist. Da, 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 da. It's a step-by-step guide that covers everything from the initial brainstorming to advanced growth strategies. It's the perfect companion for both new and seasoned podcasters. And the best part, it's absolutely free. Da, 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 da. To grab your copy, simply head to the show notes of this episode and you will find a direct link there, and then away you go. Remember, every podcast started with that initial spark and the right resource, so let the ultimate podcasting checklist be yours.